Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, brother Gaia. We are doing a live reaction of what took place this weekend. We obviously had Charles Oliveira in the UFC Brazil from Rio de Janeiro beating Mateusz Gamrot, and we also had one Friday fights 128. But I will start with UFC because I think that was a major storyline. There are some good stuff that happened also from one championship, but we'll get into that one a little bit later into our video. But before I do it, please drop a like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We are growing. And every time you guys click a like or you share or you get involved in the comments, it does take us a little bit further every little click at a time. So many thanks to that. Also, just many thanks to everybody else that also tuned into our lives this past weekend. It was really fun to have all of you there. Really do appreciate it, and yeah, we look forward to it every single week. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Will be doing a recap from the top of the card for UFC Rio de Janeiro. Let's go. Okay, so we had Charles Oliveira and Mateusz Gamrot in the main event. Obviously, we know this fight was supposed to be Charles Oliveira versus Rafael Fiziev. We didn't get that fight due to Fiziev unable to make it, and then up stepped Mateusz Gamrot. I think was like a 2 weeks notice or something like that, 2 or 3 weeks notice, a little bit less. But I know it was a short notice with Mateusz Gamrot. But he was hyped and he took the fight and he was all kinds of excited for this fight. Obviously, if you haven't watch it back, you will see Mateusz Gamrot he pretty much ran into the ring, running past the camera, doing that to cut to a wide angle to kind of keep up with him, and then seeing him run basically almost into the barrier and then got himself into the ring. I was like, okay, this guy is definitely revved up for this main event. I mean, and to be quite frank, he deserved it, right? I mean, I can see why he was hyped because it's a big shot for him. You know, the guy that's pretty much just outside of the top 5, hasn't got a title shot just yet, was in and around the top 5 mix, and then kind of went down went down the list for over the last, I'd say, 2 years or so, year and a half, almost 2 years. I think getting this fight obviously meant that, okay, if he beats Charles Oliveira, he kind of jumps that rankings, considering the landscape of the lightweight division at the moment. It was a big call for him. But okay, he got into the fight, and then let's be honest, Charles didn't have to take this fight after being KO'd in 3 months prior to this fight. He didn't have to take it. He could have relaxed and taken his time to recover and come back. But I mean, he took the fight, and my guy looked sharp. I'm going to be straight up with you guys. Charles Oliveira looked sharp, looked really strong. He looked composed. He looked like he was not going to lose the fight. I know it was in Brazil. I know he has advantages. But let's be frank, it wasn't going to be an easy fight, right? I mean, Mateusz Gamrot presents the kind of style that can make it a little bit difficult for Charles Oliveira. Look, I always knew he wasn't going to be able to knock him out. I did say in the preview I got Charles Oliveira for the win. I just didn't see Mateusz Gamrot beating him, other than like chain wrestling with him, right? But Mateusz Gamrot, as good of a wrestler as he is, and as dominant as he is in terms of like chain wrestling, we've seen when he gets to round one, when he gets to round 2 and 3, he doesn't have the same kind of power. And this was a 5-round kind of fight. This was a 5-round fight, so I didn't think that he wasn't able to go into the later rounds and win the fight. At most, I was going to give Mateusz Gamrot the first round, at most. Right, but then going after that, I was like, I don't know if he's gonna be able to get it done after that, just because he showed me signs of all these fights that I've watched. When he gets to the later rounds, he's just kind of, you can beat him up there because he has no gas tank left. Plays a very very safe defensive kind of fight style to not get in danger, and that's what he does. And then he kind of gives up the last couple of rounds. You saw against Dan Hooker or more recently, right? Same thing happened there. Charles Oliveira didn't even give him the chance to get to that later rounds. Charles went into the fight pretty intense in the first round. Backed up Mateusz Gamrot, landed a couple of good boxing combinations, and then went for the takedown. And look, Mateusz Gamrot was also striking. Like he was putting in some good boxing. He landed around the guard, some good hooks, but never really had the power to sort of put Charles Oliveira in sort of discomfort, where he was like, oh shit, I need to worry about this dude's striking. You know, like when he fought against Ilya, Charles didn't even shoot for no takedowns. I think he shot for one early, and that didn't work out. But he pretty much stayed in the pocket. He never really separated from Ilya because he knew like this fight's gonna be a straight up gunfight, right? But with Mateusz Gamrot, it was a little bit different. It's like it's almost like he knew Mateusz wasn't gonna be able to hurt him in terms of the striking. But he always felt, okay, if we're gonna go to the ground, it'll be kind of 50-50, right? But when the fight pretty much started, you could see Charles just walked him down, and it was like, I'm gonna get into the void and I'm gonna fuck you up right here because you can't knock me out. You can't. You may be able to take me down if you're lucky, but you can't knock me out. And that's what we saw. We saw Charles just like straight dominated him there. Went to the takedown, got into the omoplata position, kind of stayed in the omoplata position for a bit. Eventually got back to his feet, and I think the round kind of ended over there. When they got into the second round, more of the same, a little bit of striking. Charles goes for a takedown, a little bit of a transition between the two guys, and then Mateusz kind of gives up his back, and Charles sinks it up pretty quickly. And once he gets the back and sinks in the body triangle, I think it was kind of like looking for the kind of end was kind of close from there, because then he could just cinch in that underneath the chin. Super aggressive, super powerful. Gamrot looked like he had no answers for it, and he got choked out. So yeah, unlucky for Mateusz Gamrot. It was a big shot for him. Maybe he would have done a little bit better if he had a bit of a longer fight camp for this fight. Not to make any excuses. He didn't show up unhealthy. He showed up very healthy. And he just got beat by the better guy on the night. And Charles, I must say, he looked very impressive. He does it all the time, even though he lost against Ilya in his last fight, and he had a bit of the Michael Chandler and then Arman Sarukian. I get all of that. But realistically, Charles is a dangerous guy, and he's a super talented fighter. This is over 35, and we get that he's a bit slower now. You can kind of see that, but I still think that there's still a lot of good fights in the division where he can. I don't know if he's gonna make a title run again, but I mean, he can definitely still compete with the top 5, in my opinion. And that will always keep him around. Now I know he called out Max Holloway at the end of his fight, and straight up, gun to my head, I say book it. I say book the fight. The only fighter that kind of loses out when it comes to this call out, if this is going to be the fight, which I feel like the UFC will give him that fight. But I don't think the UFC is going to guarantee Charles another title shot. So what that means to me is that you'll probably get Max Holloway, right? We know we're going to have Sarukian versus Dan Hooker. Brilliant fight, right? Then we're probably going to get Justin Gaethje versus Ilia Topuria. And then that leaves Max Holloway, Charles Oliveira, and Paddy Pimblett without an opponent. And I know Paddy Pimblett makes a very good argument for a fight against Ilia Topuria. That's purely because of a marketable standpoint, not necessarily because he's done enough to get that shot. Let's be honest, Paddy Pimblett hasn't fought anybody in the top 5, not one of them. So the only thing that he has riding for him to get that title shot is the beef between him and Ilya, and they can market it really well, and it can be a big payday for the UFC. That's it. That's all he can really do. in my opinion, he has to fight the top five first before he can even get a shot at Ilia Topuria. At least beat one of the top five, at least. Then you can make an argument for that. Beating Michael Chandler doesn't count it for me. Michael Chandler's not in the top five. He wasn't even in the top five when when they fought each other. That's not a big. It doesn't get a boost for me in that regard. So then, what's next for Charles and Max then? If Tarukin's gonna get Dan Hooker, Gaethje gets Ilya, what does that leave for Max Holloway? He doesn't have an opponent, right? Charles Oliveira, he has fought for the title. He's fought Justin Gaethje. He's fought the who's who already in the division. I don't know the UFC is going to guarantee him a title shot, but it's a big but. You can market the PMF. They've got history. Max Holloway and Charles has got history, right? They fought before. Max got a win over him. Now they're both in the lightweight division. That was in featherweight prior. The first time they fought. Now they're both in the lightweight division. They both lost to Ilia Topuria. They both got KO'd by Ilia Topuria. Max knocked out Gaethje. Charles beat Gaethje. Max is the BMF. They both don't have an opponent now. I say book it. That's the fight to make for that division. The only thing that the league kind of like sucks is that when you fight in BMF fights, it kind of like stifles the movement for your lightweight progression. However, based on where they are sitting in their careers right now, I think either one of them get a win there. It solidifies a particular title shot. Maybe not much for Charles. Charles can maybe ride off in the sunset after beating. If he beats Max and he gets the BMF, he can literally hang up his gloves right there and be like, that's it. 2-time lightweight champion, BMF champion, over 15 years, almost 15 years in the highest order of the game. What more do you really want to do, bro? You know what I mean? So I think you can call it over there. Max Holloway, if he beats Charles again, it's another legend under his belt. Retains the BMF title, and then solidifies his number 3 spot, and then pretty much says, okay, next I want Ilya. You know, I want, or at least whoever. If Ilya beats, if Ilya loses to Justin, then you know he gets the next shot, in my opinion. Even though I think Arman Tsarukyan is the guy that's going to be the champion, I think Max beating Charles will definitely set that up for him. But I mean, at the end of the day, it was a great result for Charles Oliveira. Well deserved. He fought like a dog. He went in there and completely shut out a top contender of the division. And he can pretty much shoot his shot now. I think so. I think he doesn't get the title shot, but I mean, he can most certainly can see a BMF fight on the horizon. I think it's going to happen probably 2026. But for now, let's give Charles the celebration. As for Mateusz Gamrot, it's a loss. It's a big loss. You can make an argument that it wasn't the full camp. But he still stays in the top 10, in my opinion. And he could be getting like a Fiziev next. He might even get Paddy, but I think Paddy's going to get the privilege of the UFC and get a higher ranked opponent than Mateusz Gamrot. But Mateusz Gamrot doesn't drop out of the top 10 for my opinion. I think he stays exactly where he is, and he can welcome someone else. You know, you can get a Beneil Dariush maybe, or again, like I said, Fiziev or Renato Moicano. That's who he's probably going to be fighting next in his career. But okay, let me know in the comments, ladies and gentlemen, what do you have for this? What do you think about this performances of Charles Oliveira and Mateusz Gamrot, and also who you think Charles should be fighting next? Should it be a BMF fight? Should it be a warm-up? Should it be a fight for a title again? Let me know. I'd love to get your thoughts, please. For now, we will keep it moving to the co-main event. Okay, let's go. Co-main event. We have Davis and Deuce de Guerra. Figueiredo beating Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson was ranked number 15 coming into this fight in the bantamweight division. Deuce de Guerra ranked number 6. And I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit of an uneventful fight. I see they said split decision. I remember watching the fight live. I struggled to find a split decision win just purely because what did Montel Jackson do? It wasn't that. Other than the fact that there was a little bit of an uneventful fight in the sense that there wasn't a lot happening. You know, there were moments in each round, right? And those moments were won by Deuce de Guerra. That's all you can really give him. Let's be honest. Like, even for Montel Jackson, like, in those moments of each round, if you can sit there, because I watched the fight back twice, and there wasn't anything that he did that could give him the rounds. Even though there were moments for him in the rounds, Deuce de Guerra did more in those same rounds to ensure that he got that rounds. For example, sharper boxing in the first round, lots of stance switching, good leg kicks, good strong takedowns, dominant takedowns, by the way, a lot of top control, really putting in some hurt on Montel Jackson in those in the early rounds. I think it was the end of the first round where Deuce de Guerra did a very good He darted forward, but when he darted forward, he switched his stance twice, bah, 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 and then on the second switch, just launched the right hand, catching Montel Jackson, rocking him really badly. By the way, you could see he was dazed, but at that point there was like 2 seconds left in the round, so he was able to escape it. And then the second round, it was kind of more of the same. Not a lot of shit was happening. A lot of stance switching, a lot of tit for tat, low kick, jab, low kick on each other. I'm a bit disappointed in Montel Jackson just because Figueiredo was on a bit of a losing streak, right? Okay, he lost against like the best guys in the division. He also blew out his knee, and Montel Jackson didn't go in there and assert any sort of dominance with the reach advantage, the speed advantage, and also the momentum of a 6-fight win streak, and also not necessarily like just showing to us together that he's here to take the throne from him, and he didn't do any of that. He was fighting the fight which looked like he was a little bit too respectful of those together. I don't want to use the word scared because I don't think fighters are really scared, but they are. There was a what was the word I'm looking for? He fought like too tentative. He was just a bit too tentative in my opinion. Like he was a bit too respectful of those together. He didn't set out so many jabs, front kicks, high kicks. Putting on the pace, in and out movement, removing your hips so you don't really get taken down and just giving Deuce Together a tough time to even shoot on him. He didn't do any of that, and Deuce Together deserved the win because he, in a fight that didn't have a lot going on, you have to look at what did happen, and Deuce Together did more. Although when it was striking, it was kind of even. Montal landed a slightly bit more, but not enough to really hurt Deuce Together. Deuce Together had more damaging shots. And on top of that, Deuce Together was able to take him down in nearly every round. Don't think he got one in the third, but he was able to do it all the time. He was able to initiate it every time and put Montel Jackson into a defense position. So for me, you have to give it to Deuce Together for that reason because in a fight where nothing happened, he did more. So it made him win the fight. So yeah, well done to him. Interesting things that happened after the fight in the sense of like what was spoken about the fight. I can't remember correctly if Deuce Together called out anybody, but it did showcase that he can stay maybe in that top six. I don't think he goes any higher than the six spot. What is he ranked now? I think it's number 6, right? So um Deuce Together, number 6, yeah. I don't see him going higher than that. I don't know because if you watch him fighting in this division, he's not fighting the way he did in the flyweight. Boom, power, armor, just tank through everybody, stronger than everybody, taking everyone down, KOing them, knocking them out, submitting them. In the bantamweight division, he's fighting a fight that he doesn't want to fight, and that's predominantly wrestling and jiu-jitsu, which is not a good style for someone like Deuce Together that is explosive driven. He's an explosive fighter. Everything it does, it's got to do with explosions, right? If you think about how he fights, it's not a lot of combos. It's like one shot, 2 shots, but they got so much power behind it because it explodes in them, right? Even his takedowns are a lot of explosions, and he gets you on the ground. It's like he uses power to keep you there instead of like moving you to different positions. And he fights that way in the bantamweight division because Corey Sandhagen for me called it out the moment that Figueiredo entered the bantamweight division. Corey Sandhagen said, "This guy is not going to be able to beat everybody because he's going to realize that he can't weight bully anyone in this division because everybody's going to be bigger than him, everybody." And that's what we've seen. And that's why he's fighting a very grapple heavy fight because now he can't really power through every other shots, just knock people out because they will take his shots and they'll be faster and bigger and stronger than he is. So what he's doing is he's resorting to a very grapple heavy kind of fight, and that's resulting in him spending so much energy in the first round. We don't really see him have the same power going into later rounds. Just watch his fights. Watch all his fights in the bantamweight division. Apart from his first couple of fights against a bit of the has-beens of the division, as soon as he started getting higher ranked opponents, he was getting wiped out. You could see he was struggling, and then he became a more of a wrestling heavy kind of fighter. And I don't like that from Deuce Together. I don't think that's his strengths. I don't think that's where he does his best work. And that kind of style is always going to put him in trouble when it comes to the bantamweight division. Now, I know we saw posts from Merab Dvalishvili, the current bantamweight champion, where he spoke about. He said he made a post by saying, "Deuce Together, well done. See you later or see you soon." I think the only reason why that post was made from Merab is because Deuce Together is the only fighter in the division other than Song Yadong that he hasn't fought against. That's the only guy that if he beats Deuce Together and he beats Song Yadong, which I think he does, by the way, then he officially has beaten everybody in the bantamweight division. Like literally, except for Ayman Zahabi. But like other than that, he's beaten every. He beat Sugar Sean twice, beat Umar Nurmagomedov, beat Peter Yan, beat Corey Sandhagen, didn't fight Song Yadong, didn't fight Figueiredo. Did he fight Marlon Vera? I remember seeing that. Didn't fight Mario Batista, but and Ayman Zahabi beat Henry Cejudo. David Martinez is new to the game. This is Oliveira is new to the thing. Rob Font, Kyle Phillips, Mateusz Jackson. So these guys are never really going to make top 5, in my opinion. We won't see them there, right? But if you think about like the elite of the division, he's beaten all of them, and he's probably going to get Piotr Jan next because that's the guy he did officially call out after beating Cody Sandhagen. He was like, "Yeah, okay, give me Piotr Jan. He's next in line. He's beaten everybody. He's beaten Marcus McGee now. He's he didn't have to take that fight. It was a tune-up fight for him. Give me Piotr Jan." Umar Nurmagomedov has got someone next. I think he's got Mario Batista next. So it's like they all locked up. So he's obviously going. Let me get Piotr Jan. He's healthy. He's fresh. He's ready. He's keen to go. He's geared up to go. I'll fight him. But the only reason why, in my opinion, that he made that post about Davison Figueiredo is because that's the only guy he didn't fight in the division. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think that's a good fight for Davison Figueiredo. I really don't think so. I think Merab Dvalishvili beats him up, taps him out maybe in the later rounds. Right now, I don't think Merab loses to anybody in this division. I really don't think so. Maybe Piotr Jan, maybe, because they have fought before. Piotr Jan beat Cody Sandhagen. I think Piotr Jan is a slightly stronger. I say slightly because Cody Sandhagen is high level. But Piotr Jan is the more devastating striker. If you think about it this way, like Cody Sandhagen is elite, high level, one of my favorite guys to watch. But Piotr Jan, like when he hits you, it's like you're gonna go down. Like you're gonna feel it. When Cody hits you, it's usually on Cody's fourth or fifth shot that lands that puts you down, but not necessarily the first couple of shots. Whereas Piotr Jan, if he hits you, if he goes at you, you will feel his jab, you will feel his tip, you will feel the calf kick. Like he'll fuck you up with it. And he's a fantastic boxer. And I think he's got the power to knock out Merab. However, if we just don't see Merab avoiding the grappling, and that's always going to beat him. No matter how much Piotr Jan's going to train, we've seen him look better at grappling. We've seen him look better at grappling defense. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. If you're not knocking out Merab, you're not going to win the fight. That's just the reality of it. You have to do a lot more than that to win that fight. So, yeah, Davison Figueiredo, he might be a lucky dude here because he's the only guy that Merab didn't fight when it comes to the top 6, other than Xiong Yadong, right? And I think if Mario Batista beats Umar Nurmagomedov, he might be next, and he might jump the back and get the shot against Merab. But at the moment, it was Davison Figueiredo's, not necessarily his night, but it was his fight. He won. It was in Brazil. Big ups to Davison Figueiredo. For Montel Jackson, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed in what I witnessed, because people were talking about this dude like he was the next thing. Same way that people spoke about Marcus McGee on a fight streak, looking really good, and then you get the elite fighter, and then you basically get wiped out. So, yeah, Montel Jackson stays where he's at, and the only reason why we're seeing these guys get such big jump ups in opponents is because the division's at the state at the moment where champions beating everybody. Top guys have all fought each other already. They want to avoid each other because they all want a shot at Merab again. And then people outside of the top 6 are all like kind of has-beens and new breeds that don't really look that good because they can't get past the has-beens. So it's like the division's a little bit stale, just a little bit stale. And it's in need of someone that's going to enter the division and really become a puzzle or a thorn to everybody. You know what I mean? It's like the bantamweight needs a new, I don't know. I don't want to use the word Conor McGregor, but they kind of need someone like that. They kind of need someone that's fresh, young, aggressive, arrogant, knocking people out, submitting people. It's like it needs an Ilya. The division needs an Ilya. Someone that's super confident and calls their shots and does what they say they're going to do, and looks like a problem for someone like Merab. Imagine if Pantoja was like 5 years younger and big enough to actually make that bantamweight division. That would be a very good addition to the division, in my opinion. Hopefully, Umar Nurmagomedov gets his shit together and maybe beats Mario Batista and gets another shot. I do think that Umar Nurmagomedov can go at Merab. I really do think so. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what else people have to do to beat Merab Dvalishvili other than KOing him. If you're not knocking him out, he's beating you every round. But okay, it was a good fight nonetheless for Davison Figueiredo. Let me know in the comments, please, in the chat, who you think Davison Figueiredo should be fighting next. Should it be Merab? because he's the only guy, or should he be fighting someone like Song Yadong to officially secure that shot? Because let's be honest, I think Petr Yan deserves it. And then outside of Petr Yan, maybe Mario Batista if he beats Umar Nurmagomedov, and then Song Yadong, like he hasn't fought against Marab, so that could be another strong argument that they could make. But they have to go on streaks first. Song Yadong has to beat someone in that top 5 to get there, and he hasn't done that yet. So let's see. Let me know in the comments while I move on to the next fight. Okay, some controversy in this next one. We had Vicente Luque taking on Joel Alvarez, who made his debut in the welterweight division. Remember, he's not an actual welterweight fighter. He fights in lightweight. He is a 155er, but a big 155er. Pretty much like sucked in terms of the inactivity. Like we haven't seen him enough, and he was really like beating everyone. I mean, think about Joel Alvarez, right? This guy has got so many wins, right? All these wins are via KOs. He doesn't go to even subs. He just KOs people all the time, even though he can grapple. But never got a fight. Just never got a fight in the lightweight division, which is mad. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was because he couldn't make weight or because he was injured. But he had fights booked, and then fights were getting cancelled all the time. And I thought it was very strange because this could be a superstar. Like there's someone in Joel Alvarez that can really be a mega star for the organization. Really talented. So when I saw him make the debut, I was like, "Oh, welterweight." Thought it was never a difficult time, but he actually looked pretty big in that division. Like he was bigger than Vicente Luque, and I thought that was quite impressive. He also fought a very good fight. Granted that he had a bit of a short notice. I think this was like a 1 week notice for him, and technically, he should have won the fight in the first round. It should have been stopped because, in my opinion, I know I heard it on commentary. I forgot the one commentator's name. He was saying the fight should be reset. But in my opinion, it's not. When you're fighting in a fight, it's not like a football match when you get kicked and you're struggling to move, and then you put your hand up or you signal to the bench to say, "Listen, let's get substituted here," and then you kick the ball out and you sit down and the game pauses for a moment, and then we reset with a new player. This is not that. This is a fucking fight. And if you get hit in the face and it hurts you and you put your hand up, in my opinion, that's throwing in the towel. You know what I mean? You basically telling the ref and everybody else around you can't continue anymore. It's as good as a verbal tap. Because if you watch the fight back, I mean, we watched it live when it happened. I remember we were in the live stream. He landed the shot, and I said, "Oh, this could be the end of it here." And then they didn't give it because they said eye poke. It wasn't an eye poke. I rewatched the fight back. It wasn't an eye poke. It was a nice very short check left hook from Alvarez. Yes, it wasn't the cleanest because he didn't what do you call it, curl his wrist in, make that 45-degree angle and hit the hook land. It was a little bit like that. He kept the fist straight, bang, and then it landed with the thumb of the knuckle of the thumb landed, clipping what's his name, Vicente Luque, just outside of the eye, bang, cracking him really badly. And what does he do? What does Vicente Luque do? He literally goes like this, puts his hands up, screams to the ref, puts his hand up, and goes down. And then when the referee says to him, "We just checked that it's a legal blow," what do? They let the time continue, they let him recover, and let the doctor didn't come in. They let him recover. And then you clearly see that Vicente Luque's eye was swollen shut. So it was a good shot. It wasn't the eye poke, it was a fantastic shot on him. And let the fight continue. And I thought that was very weird because that should have been a TKO finish right there for Joel Alvarez. He even thought he won the fight, by the way. He didn't say it when they interviewed him about it because he was very respectful of Vicente Luque. But in my opinion, that was a win for him. When they got into the second round, it was kind of more of the same. Vicente Luque was, trying to strike him, landing some good overhand rights. Like he was landing overhand rights whenever Joel Alvarez would pop out the jab. But fuck it, Joel Alvarez was killing guys. He was jabbing away, doing combinations with his front deep kick, right hand, left hand. Just going at him, all sorts of combinations, good takedown defense, even had a takedown of his own, good elbows on the ground. Just looked a very good fight for someone who's debuting in the division against not necessarily, I won't say high level anymore. He's always high level, but I mean, let's be honest, Luque is of the old guard. Like, we need to move on from him at this point right now. And yeah, Joel Alvarez did a very good job. I don't want to see Alvarez stay at welterweight. Honestly, I don't. I think he's still something for him to do in the lightweight division. Because to be honest with you, the welterweight division, as much as I like Alvarez there, I don't think he goes very far. With Carlos Prates, Michael Morales there, what's his name? Gary's the Shafkat. So I just don't know if Joel Alvarez can crack those guys there. So I think he should maybe go and go back to lightweight division. Yo, Anonymous Powhatan, what's up, bro? How's it going, my brother? Shout out to you, my friend, making the time to come and see us. Probably in the morning right now by you. Good morning, good morning. Good to see you in the chat. Just talking about this fight of Joel Alvarez and Vicente Luque, and yeah, I don't know where you stand when you on this one, but in my opinion, I think Vicente Luque should have been TKO'd in the first round just because of that shot to the eye. That left hook from Alvarez was beautiful, clean, landed nicely, and yeah, the fight should have been called there, but it didn't. What have we got? Anonymous Poetan. Good. Just woke up last night, went to bed early last night. Nice, man. Hey, being professional, yeah, growing up and doing some adult things. Just messing. I'm good, thank you. Very, very good. Just doing this recap. But I'm doing very good, brother, man. Much love. Went for a nice run this morning, nice and healthy, good diet. Watched the fights back, put my notes together, and now we're doing the recap. So let's get it. But yeah, then when we got into that third round, there was a bit of a stalling moment happened there because there was a takedown. Joel Alvarez landed like an arm triangle, but from top. Then Vicente Luque kind of wiggled his way onto his stomach, and then they got stifled into that position where I didn't move from that moment, and it just stayed like that the whole time, which made it a little bit boring. And then when they did break away from it, back to defeat, Alvarez kind of saw the fight out with his jabs and the striking, and yeah, good performance from him. Again, I'm gonna say it now. I don't want to see him stay in the welterweight division just because I think the guys in there are a little bit bigger than him, and they'll take him out. And I just feel that he's a much better lightweight division. He's much better in the lightweight division. What have you got there, Anonymous Proton? Alvarez and Luque should have ended in the first round, in my opinion. Yeah, I still think so. It was a very nice counter left hook that landed from him, and cleaner than anything. There was no eye poke. It was a clean shot. His eye was swollen, and what I was saying before you came in, Anonymous, was in fighting, when a fighter puts up their hand and after getting tagged by something, whether it's a shot to the body, which we see a lot of the times where there's a tip, and the fighter goes, oh, and they go down and they show the replay, and it wasn't even on the buckle. It wasn't even on the cup. It was above the belt, and they couldn't handle that tip kick. But then they go down, and then if he starts the fight again. In my opinion, if you're putting up your hand in a fight after taking a shot, that's calling it right there, because it wasn't an illegal blow. You don't get offered the time to stop the clock because it was a legal shot. It was a legal shot. So that is equivalent to throwing in the flag. Throwing in the towel. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I got hit. Oh shit. Okay, I can't continue, kind of thing. That's what it is. You don't get grace for that because it was a clean shot. So yeah, the fight should have ended over there, in my opinion, as well. But okay, before I keep it moving, Anonymous Pro, attention to you in the chat. Do you have any thoughts with regards to the main event and Charles the Predator Oliveira? Yo, we got Adrian in the chat as well. What's up? Much love, bro. Shout out to everybody tuning in. I didn't expect to actually have people tuning in at this time, but let's go. Before I continue, I want to get your thoughts in the chat with regards to the Charles Oliveira fight. Beautiful fight. I know it was short notice for Mateusz Gamrot, but he fought a really good fight. What I really want to get your thoughts on. Oh, here we go. A comment from 80. Gamrot had nothing after he saw Charles' jiu-jitsu. Yeah, 100%. I also feel like Gamrot was a little bit too hyped, guys. I mean, remember how he ran into the ring? He ran past the camera guy, ran almost into the barrier, had to stop himself, collect his feet, run back into the ring. So he only really had the first round, but the first round he even lost. He lost pretty badly that first round as well. But what I really want to talk about, because the fight was pretty much like, one and done very quickly. What I really want to get your opinions on, since we have people in the chat, is what's next for Charles Oliveira? Is it the BMF fight against Max Holloway? Does he fight someone else in the top 5? Does he get another title run? Where's your thoughts on that? Because I'm in the camp of, I think the BMF fight against Max is a very good fight. I really do think so. I think that's a. Oh, okay. Adrian, what's Adrian saying here? Max BMF look at. Yeah, 100%. I also think so. It's a good progression for both of them actually, and also for Charles. Like, I think if he beats Max Holloway, which he can, by the way, I think this Charles Oliveira has a very good attributes that can put Max in all kinds of trouble. Actually, I think if Max beats Charles Oliveira, retire right there, right there, call it right there. You know why? Two times lightweight champion, right? Most bonuses, most submissions, BMF champion. You know what I mean? Like, what more? What more? No one else is gonna do that in that lightweight division unless Ilya, gets Charles again if Charles beats Max. But like realistically, that's like enough for him to go at 37 years old. I'm done, guys. There we go. Jonas Poetan says, bro, ran to the octagon just to get submitted by Oliveira the GOAT. Yeah, I don't know. Mateusz Gamrot can still stay where he is, in my opinion, ranked number 6, but he's only going to have to fight down from there. So that means like Renato Moicano, Beneil Dariush, Michael Chandler. Pardon me. Like, that's who he could get next. But other than that, no one else really. What do you say, Jonas Poetan? You should fight Max for the BMF. I think he's going to get it. Do you see Max Holloway's response to it? He had a response to that. He's like, oh, I saw the call out. And you know what? Let's get it. And he was like, let's get it. So I'm thinking maybe, January, maybe like February in 2026, we could see a Max Holloway and Charles Oliveira throw down for that BMF. I mean, I would lose my shit if they could book that fight, honestly. Two of my favorite guys in the division throwing down for that BMF, and also a rematch. There's history. It would be a very good fight. And also, I'm going to say it now, what's making me more excited for that fight, even though I'm going to be 1,000,000% biased to Max Holloway in that fight, but I'm going to say it now. Charles Oliveira in lightweight division of this experience is a problem for Max Holloway. A fucking problem. It's not Charles in the featherweight division where he was quitting a lot of the time in most of those fights. He's a lot better now. He's stronger. He's bigger. He's scary to fight against. I think that he's a problem for Max Holloway at this stage in his career. I really do think so. And that's why I think it will be a good fight. It won't be an easy fight for Max Holloway. Adrian says Ilya is the true BMF. No, I don't think so. I get the arguments everyone's making, but that's the same as making MMA math. So if the title is not up on the line, you don't get it. So if he wants to be the true BMF, fight Max again, and we put both titles on the line. Let's go, both titles. Look at me saying we as if I'm fucking Max Holloway, but I mean, like, that needs to happen. Nick, it's not Max's fault. He didn't ask for the title not to be put on the line. That was the UFC that did that. But anyway, we'll keep it moving, boys. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will keep it moving. But I'm super hyped for that fight, the BMF fight. Anonymous Protons asking, you guys haven't done one championship recap yet, right? No, we haven't. I'm doing the one championship recap after this. I'm only doing the main card for the UFC anyway, and then I'll move into the one championship because I'm gonna go through all the fights for one championship. So yeah, I'll keep it moving to the next one. Let's go. Right, heavyweight MMA for the UFC. We saw Jonathan Diniz take on Mario Pinto. Quite a funny fight. I had quite a laugh for this one just because of Mario Pinto's, like, his shenanigans after the fight was quite funny. I'm not gonna lie, that had me in stitches. In terms of the fight, he fought a very good fight. I knew he was gonna win. I thought he was gonna win by KO and not by sub. No, excuse me, he did win by KO. But that was because of the TKO finish when he was on the ground and pound. But I thought he was gonna win by like a standing knockout. So I felt like he was a better boxer. I thought he was stronger. He had better reach as well. Now he's 11-0. He's young for the heavyweight division. He's gonna be I don't think he will be a problem. I think he needs to get more high-level opponents. He's obviously getting like easier guys at the moment, but he's looking good. He's looking good. He's looking like a prospect. Adrian says Pinto is a troll. Nah, for real, this guy had me laughing at the end of his fight just because, like, firstly, his performance was good. strong boxing. Took Dennis down quite easily. Had him on the ground, rolled him around pretty easily. Reversed all the reversals. If you put it that way. Like every time Pinto. Every time Dennis tried to get out from bottom, Pinto had a way to get away from it. He mounted him a few times. Just dominated him, bro. The elbow that cut him open was nasty because it was 12-6 elbow, which I really thought was beautiful to see because he's utilizing the rules. And then pretty much mounted him in the second round, top of the cage, just beating him up, getting the TKO finish. Good job. And what I found funny about it was his post-fight interview because he was doing everything in Portuguese, which I thought was cool. Obviously, he's from Portugal. But then, but then, when Michael Bisping asked him something, he said, "No, I don't speak English or I can't speak English, bro." But then he does a whole thing in English and has a complete UK accent, the mandem, doing a full mandem on them. And I was like, what is going on here? That really had me in stitches. And yeah, I think there's a character here. I think if you can keep putting on good performances like this, he reminds me of Curtis Blades in terms of his fight style, right? But he can box. Where Curtis Blades is boxing, he's not the same level, but he can box. Curtis Blades, but younger. He's got that vibe, and he's more of a guy you can get behind on the microphone. So the more he does this, the more he's gonna get recognized, the more the fan base is gonna go loyal. This is the second time I watched Pinto fight under UFC, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I find it low-key impressive. Like I don't rate him, just not yet. But what I'm seeing from him so far is like, okay, there's something here. He needs to get someone else, like a Marcin Tybura. He needs to get like a battle-tested heavyweight. Someone that's been around the block, someone that's got a lot of experience, someone that can put him in trouble. I think that's what he needs. A Marcin Tybura would be really good for him. We were supposed to see Walter Walker fight in this fight card, but I don't know if they'll put Walter Walker against him because the two of them are kind of in the same bracket of the new breeds for the heavyweight division, so they're going to kind of let them grow at the same time. So we'll probably get him. I would love to see him go up against like a Marcin Tybura. I don't know if Taito Ivasa is still around, but he's in the rankings. He's number 11, so I feel like that would be a good fight for him. Mick Parkin, I don't know. Like, Mick Parkin's a bit of a downer right now, and also I don't know if he'll get back to it. But I think a Taito Ivasa or Marcin Tybura would be a very good fight for him. Anyone else above that, like Delaji, Derek Lewis, Spivak, I feel like you'll get them a little bit later. I think if he gets one more fight, he can get them. What do you got a comment here from 80 saying you versus Curtis Blades at catchweight boxing? How does it play out? Me, as in me, BG versus Curtis Blades. Is that what you're asking me? Just to be clear, another comment. Pinto is a nightmare for Tuivasa. I agree, eh? I kind of agree with that one, 80. BGKO first round. That's cack funny. Pure boxing. No ways, bro. I'm gonna tell you right up now. BG is like three. He's like three of me in one person. Not BG. Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades is three BGs in one person. So I don't know. Unless you like, let me fight against Curtis Blades, and then we put Curtis Blades in boxing gloves and put me in 4-ounce gloves, and then we go. Anonymous Proton says BGKO first round. No, but for real, guys, I do think that Pinto would be a really good fight. Or like Marcin Tybura. Oh, excuse me. That would be a very good progression for him in terms of being an heavyweight division. If he gets to win over one of those two guys, it's like, okay, we can put you in the top 10 now. You know what I mean? He deserves that. Yeah, you guys are trolling hard in the comments here. But end of the day, good fight. He's undefeated now, 11-0, and yeah, if he continues this, he's definitely going to become a fan favorite for the UFC fan base. But okay, let's keep it moving, boys, to the next one. Up next, we had the opening bout of the main card, and we saw Ricardo Ramos being mauled by Khan Offley, and which I found to a large degree disappointing. Like disappointing, because I don't rate Khan Offley that much. because I've watched him all the way through the Ultimate Fighter. What are you saying here, Adrian? Choked his ass out. Yeah, it was a nasty choke, bruh. And but that's what I also don't like about the fight because Khan Offley, he's one dimensional, guys. He doesn't give you anything else to train for. Like, you know what he's gonna do. He will strike with you, but he's not gonna try and knock you out. That's not what he does. He's gonna want to grapple you. You want to get you to the ground, and that's where he feels the most comfortable. And that's when you would look for devastating shots, or you look for a choke. You know what I mean? That's Khan Offley. That's what you're gonna get from him all the time. So for me, Ricardo Ramos showcased to me he didn't do the research. He didn't do no research in this fight because the fight didn't take long to get to the ground. It didn't take long. They started. There was some striking in a little bit for about maybe 2 minutes, and then Khan shot for a takedown. Got the fucking takedown, which was easy for him, and then worked to the back. And once he got to the back, he was able to just sink up a near naked choke pretty easily. This puts Ricardo Ramos on a 7-fight losing streak now. Like, why? What is he doing? Why is he here? Why is he in the organization? And I remember his introduction to the UFC. I watched him come up. I watched him come up in the UFC, and there was something there. You know, AD says sack him, dude. To be realistic, the UFC have gotten rid of guys for far less than this. They got rid of guys that were on win streaks, by the way. You know what I mean? So realistically, he should be sacked is the right word. He should be going to PFL or fighting in one championship or something like that because you can't be on a win streak and losing in not just losing on decision, like he's getting tapped out and KO'd all the time, bro. You know what I mean? You should be getting sacked for real. What did Adrian say? Did my boy Brian battle dirty? Exactly. That's a very good example. Very good example of why you should be getting rid of. Anonymous Poetan says, if I knew he was on a 7, you said, losing streak, I would have avoided him. Did you put cash on Ricardo Ramos? Uh, Anonymous said, I did close to no research. I was just all in on Oliveira. I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you. Everybody's all in on Oliveira. But yeah, he was on a losing streak. And when I did the preview, I chose Ricardo Ramos, but that was only because I want to see Khan Offley lose, right? But I did say in the preview, there's a risk for this fight for Ricardo Ramos because of that. Like, he's been flaky. He's been very flaky in his last couple of fights. He's a good striker, but like, I don't know why he's not looking as the way he did when he entered the UFC. When he entered the UFC, he was like, dude, the guy was going on streaks. He was KOing everybody. He showcased very good jiu-jitsu. But then for some reason he just went down the dumps, and he never was able to recover from that again. So yeah, I should have actually said don't put the bet on him, even though I picked him. But I picked him because of biased reasons, not because I think he was going to win. I picked him because I just wanted to see Khan Offley lose. He was on your parlay, you say. Now we know never to pick Ricardo Ramos again. He's like the what are those brothers? He's like the tougher brothers. You just don't bet on these guys. They're just gonna keep losing all the time. You know what I mean? So yeah. But anyway, for Khan Offley, good win. You know, good win. He deserved it. He did what he needed to do. He silenced the crowd. He got the submission, and he got the win. I don't know what they're gonna do for him next. I don't know if he'll be a prospect for the featherweight division if he's being real. I'm just looking at this featherweight right now, and I just don't see him being a prospect there. You know, you'll put on some good fights like against a Dan Ige, against a Giga Chikadze, maybe a David Onama. But when he gets like a Steve Garcia, Patricio Pitbull upwards, I just don't see him winning fights from there. I see all those guys getting him. See all of them getting him. He's lucky that the guy had knocked him out. He's not even in this division anymore in Madden Santos. He's so lucky. Madden Santos is not there. The nightmare for him. What do we got here, Anonymous Botan? Watch me bet against Ricardo Ramos, and he becomes like the best fighter ever. Nah, but don't put that out there though. Don't say stuff like that. Like, you know, because then what will happen is they'll put him up against a can, someone that he's supposed to win, and then you bet against him, and then he wins that fight because he's fighting against a layup. Don't put that out there, bro. Then, chances are he's probably gonna get released. Yeah. Unless he's kept around for fight cards like this, pull up a Brazilian fight card. You know what I mean? Because my guess is He's not on a high paycheck or high pay scale at the moment. He's probably like, you know, amongst the bottom feeders of the pay scale of the fighters, excuse me. Yeah, so yeah, don't put that out there. Just don't bet on him again. Just don't make that bet, bro. But let's keep it moving. So I'm gonna run through some of the results of the prelims. Then I'll move on to the one championship recaps. So in the prelims, interesting fight. We saw Lucas Almeida getting smashed, scary fucking KO from Michael Oswald. Honest Wotan, I think you had Michael Oswald on your parlay, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Very good fight. He aggressive. Went in there, didn't even take long to go and put the pressure on Lucas Almeida. Had him backed up quite early and beautiful. That was his right hand KO. I heard that Lucas Almeida had a broken hand. He broke his hand 2 days before the fight, or was the day before the fight. So which probably explained why he didn't throw any punches and why he was just looking so backed up all the time and didn't put any aggression on anyone. But pardon me, take nothing away from Michael as well. I think he went in there and did what he had to do. It's not his fault that his opponent came into that fight unhealthy or unfit. You know what I mean? It's not his fault that this is the guy he got matched up with and you hurt his hand. That's your problem, bro. So yeah, I would say well done to Michael Oswald for doing the things and for getting a very good win. I don't think he's ranked, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Michael Oswald's ranked. No, he's not. He's not ranked. But if he could do more like this, put in more win streaks like this, I think he can definitely make himself become, I won't say undeniable, but he can become a guy that the UFC can't ignore. They're gonna put him into more fights. But yeah, well done to him. Jaffa Filio, my guy, doing the things, tapping out Clayton Carpenter, very aggressive, strong. Carpenter wasn't gonna get the job done. Let's be honest. When I did the preview as well, I just couldn't see a win for Clayton Carpenter in this fight. I was like, what is he gonna do? Knock him out maybe if he's lucky. But Jaffa Filio fights such a fight style that people forget, man. This guy was there. He's there to be a threat in the flyweight division. I mean, think about like how he went up to when he fought against Mokaev. Great fight against Mokaev, right? And that was the fight he lost. Got a little bit of unfortunate losses here and there, but still, though, like he's a problem. He's a threat. I think if he can put together a good win streak, he can definitely get himself a ranking by 2026 in that year 2026. Because I do think there's something in Jafal Filio. Apart from his jiu-jitsu game, he can box as well. What have you got now, Sowitan? I'll be back in 15 minutes. I'm gonna go smoke this J. My phone about to die. Yep. Okay, easy, bro. Take your time. Pull up when you can. No stress. Yeah, Jafal Filio. I'm gonna say it right now. He's a dog, and I think that if you can put on a good win streak, he will get more high level opponents, and he can make a good run for that flyweight division. Maybe he won't get a title shot anytime soon, but I do think that he can at least get cracked into the rankings. You know what I mean? That's what I think for Jafal Filio. Good fight. Then we had Vito Petrino knocking out Thomas Peterson. A bit of a layup for Vito Petrino, in my opinion, in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, home crowd advantage. Get the crowd hyped, get a KO, and then you will sell out the tickets. And we set it up right now. It was a one-sided fight. Took a bit long for him to get the finish, but it was a bit of a one-sided fight. He dominated the first round with good boxing, really sharp boxing. I would say he took a bit of a rest in that second round because he wasn't fighting the same way he did in the second round. He almost fought like a game plan was like, let me relax in the second round because I couldn't get him out in the first round, but stay safe. Be defensive. Don't give up any takedowns, jabs, stay on the outside. Don't give up any positions. Stay clean. And then when they got into the third round, it was like, okay, now you can go out there and burst again and unload some good combinations on him. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, the right uppercut, boom, clean. Left hook, bang, drops him. Fight's over. Finishing shots. Didn't need to do that, but he did it anyway. And Vito Petrino looks good. I'm going to say it now. I rate Mario Pinto more than Vito Petrino. I'm going to say it now. Vito Petrino is built like a specimen, but I see a lot of holes in his game. I see flaws in his game. I don't think he's got the overall MMA game prowess to be able to, enter that high level of the of the heavyweight division. You almost need to do it all. You need to be able to wrestle well, be able to strike really well. And I mean, in heavyweight division, when you get to the top 5, those guys can knock each other out like this. It don't take long before they can end fights like that. Peter Petrino fought against a layup against Thomas Peterson. It took him 3 rounds to KO him, where he could have done it in the first round. Right? Okay, every fight is different. Every fight can be difficult. I get it, right? But this was a fight that was curated for him to go and get the highlight reel finish. He got the finish, but it took him 3 rounds to get there. So I just think that if for me, I would say let's give Mario Pinto. I know I said Marcin Tybura, right? But I would say give him Mario, give him Vito Petrino, and then the winner there will guarantee a top 10 fight next. That's how I look at it. Or you can have them both grow at the same time. But Vito Petrino didn't impress me that much. I just feel like if he gets taken down against with someone that's a good wrestler like a Jonathan Almeida or Curtis Blades, they get him down. He's not getting back up. I'm telling you now, he's losing that fight. Vito Petrino, for me, apart from KO power and explosion, what else can he really do? So that's why I think he needs to do a little bit more. Baya Mesquita took on Irina Alekseeva, tapped her out in the second round. Very good fight for Baya. She was aggressive. She was strong. She used the reach. She was on the forward pressure the whole time. Pretty much backed up Irina the whole fight. When they got into the second round, you could see the grappling was just way too intense for Irina. She didn't have to deal with that jiu-jitsu. Sinking up the rear naked choke, like it choked the life out of her. You could see the look on Irina's face. She was just like, you could see the spirit of Irina leaving her body. That's how intense that choke was. Well done to Baya. First time I've seen her fight. I don't know much about the lady. And I'm impressed. Because what I was impressed mainly about her is that she wasn't one-dimensional. It wasn't like I'm going to be grappling heavy only. You know what I mean? She worked her way into that takedown. She was using the double jab and used some kicks, and she was on the feet. She was competent enough to back up Irina with that striking and then get the takedown. So that one for me was really good. A lot of times when it's like jiu-jitsu heavy fighters, they either pull in guard on you because they can't really strike that well, or they shoot in heavily on you, keeping it close because they want to get the fight to the ground as soon as possible. But Baya was prepared to strike if she needed to, and I thought that was really impressive from her. So good win, good performance bonus as well, and I think it was a really good fight for her. Lucas Rocha beat Stewart. Yeah, again, not much for Stewart. Lucas Rocha was just dominating every single round. Strong, good boxing, really, really good fight for him. Wished he finished Stewart, but he didn't. But it was a good fight. Julia Polastri fought a great fight as well. She fought against the legendary Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Fight shouldn't happen. I don't know why Kowalkiewicz is still contacted by the UFC. I know she still wants to stay it, but I mean, she can still stay healthy without having to fight. She can become a very good coach because, to be honest with you, I like the way MMA Guru spoke about this fight. He mentioned that, what's her name? It's like watching your auntie fight. He used the word nan. I don't know if that's also auntie in the UK or if he's talking about grandma. We're saying grandma, I feel like that's very offensive to her, but saying auntie is a little bit better in my opinion. Because she's 40 years old and 39 years old, and she fought. You could see in this fight, although she was okay, whenever Polastri did go forward and landed some big shots in her, she couldn't deal with it. I mean, the body kick ruined her early in the first round already. Almost got her out of there. The barrage of strikes, Kowalkiewicz couldn't do anything about it, and she stuck it out all the way to the third round before getting TKO'd. But yeah, she couldn't do anything. She couldn't even get the takedowns, which I felt is a good game plan to beat Polastri, is to actually take her down and keep grappling with her. Then she's going to be tired and she can't strike with you, because Polastri is a devastating striker, powerful striker. And I always felt that she was going to win the fight. I called it. I said she was going to take her out, and she did. And I hope that Kowalkiewicz, she didn't put the gloves down, so I hope that she does consider putting the gloves down here, because you lost to someone that's not even ranked. So yeah, your time is up in my opinion. Maybe she can do a better job in a different organization, but if she wants to continue to fight in. But I think for the UFC, let's give her a send-off. Let's give her someone that she can beat, or just put together a good ceremony for her, because she was a title contender for a while. She was in the top 5 when Jacek was the champion for a while. She was consistently beating up the ladies in the top 5. So she deserves a little bit of a good send-off in my opinion. But She shouldn't have had this fight. Velastri just pretty much beat her up for 3 rounds. So yeah, well done to her. And of course, Lucas Almeida opened up the fight card with a very good fight against Simon Oliveira, who missed weight by 8 pounds. But Lacerda was just too strong all the time, dominating both rounds, and yeah, deserved the win, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what my I think I went with a 7 with my rating, and I'm gonna keep it there just because there was a lot of finishes on this fight card, a lot of finishes. I mean, Oliveira just did a madness and called out my guy Max Holloway, called out Jerome. So I think it's deserved of a 7 for me on the fight card. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. What you guys think about this fight card? Give me your rating, and also give me your pick for who was fighter of the night. And while you're doing that, I'm going to reset and move on to our next review, where we are going to move on to one championship. Let me just catch my breath for a second. Spoke now a lot for 1 hour, so just give me a moment. Give me your thoughts in the comments about that fight card while I reset. Let's go. Alrighty, let's keep it moving, and we're gonna move to one championship. Ah, we saw Stephen Irving just stealing the headlines at one Friday Fights 128, which was live the past Friday. I think what was that, the 10th of October? The past Friday was the 8th. Anyway, great fight. It was the 10th. Great fight card. Really massive fight card. So buckle up. I'm going to be quite detailed with this one because I got all my notes out here, and there were some really good fights. Some interesting stuff happened. Some controversial stuff. Red card we saw for the first time. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I will start at the top of the card where we saw Stephen Irving. Probably going to be KO of the year. I've watched a lot of KOs this year. Lots of finishes so far, from one championship to boxing to the UFC. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think I've seen a cleaner high kick finish this year from the one we saw over the weekend. Stephen Irving, I'll even show you my notes quickly just to show you, to express what I'm talking about. Look at that. Look at all my other notes. Like, my notes just go in for all the other fights, right? Lots of bullshit on the. And then I got to Stephen Irving, and I was like, Irving KO, done. That's all I could write down. That's all I could write down for that fight. Even though there was stuff happening, there were things happening up until that KO. Like, the fight wasn't just a KO. There was a whole round that took place, before the knockout even happened. So let's get there. Rambong looked good in his last couple of fights. Powerful puncher, very good southpaw guy. It's extremely hard. I always thought Stephen Irving was going to get him out of there, just because Stephen Irving fights a fight style that is a problem for the Thai guys. You know what I mean? Like, he's got pretty much the bouncing heavy fight style like Nico Carrillo, but also kickboxing heavy. So what that means is it's a lot of combinations. It's not a lot of one shots. You know what I mean? And also, what he did really well was he was attacking Rambong's lower half quite a lot, attacking the leg kicks, attack the body, boom, boom, leg kicks, throw out some jabs, lots of feints, like a lot of feints. He threw 2 high kicks before he threw the knockout high kick, and the first 2 high kicks came off a jab high kick, a feint jab high kick, and both times Rambong was getting conditioned to this, like he was preparing to, okay. But because there was a lot of low kicks that was coming from Stephen Irving, and the way he was able to pull out the left straight from Rambong, meant that he had Rambong biting on everything. So that when he did throw that high kick that finished the fight, what was beautiful about it was you could see Rambong's defense was completely taken away, because he was expecting either a body or a low kick. So what he did was he was moving backwards, planted his feet, and then when Stephen Irving went for the high kick, Rambong literally went from being like this, dropped his hands, literally just dropped his hands, thinking he's gonna catch a kick. I don't know what he was trying to catch a kick for there, and he took the high kick clean. Let me see if I can show it on screen quickly, because I know Eddie normally used to do this for us. I'm just very wary of the sound. That's why I don't like to Oh, oh. Why can't I turn the sound off? Sorry, let me just do this. Let's play that back again. Oh, I want to play it on Instagram. Let's just look at this again for a second. This is insane. Insane. I'll just do that quickly. Oh, fuck. Anyway, ugly stuff. That's what that was. It was just ugly. But he landed it because he was able to condition Rambong the whole time by going low, going low, going low. And then when he decided to go up, Rambong wasn't having any defense for it. Basically took his head off and deserved it. But here's the big point. The biggest thing about this is that he didn't only kick himself into a 350,000 baht bonus, but he also kicked himself into a $100,000 contract by one championship, which is massive. Massive for him because now he's officially contracted. What that simply means for Stephen Irving is that he can now, fight pay-per-view events. He fights big events. He fights fight night cards. He'll fight numbered cards, and he can make a run. And this was 130 pounds Muay Thai, so that's pretty much flyweight division, which is already stacked. I'm just looking through the flyweight division quickly. Give me a moment. Here we go. Flyweight rankings. Raotang, number 1, fighting Nong O for the vacant title. Kong Torani, Chao Suyai, Nakrov, Aslam John Otikov, Akif Kuluzada, Shimon Yoshinari, and Asadullah Ghazali. Obviously, we got Jojo Ghazali. We've got the Stickman brothers as well. The real question is, who does Stephen Irving fight for his first contract fight? Let me know in the comments while I keep moving, because I think that I'd love to give it to you guys to think about who he should be fighting next. I gave you some list of names. We know that Asam John Otikov and Nakib Kulazada, they jumped up into that top 5 now because both those guys beat the guys who were in the top 5. They both beat Kong Torani and they beat Chao Siai. Chao Siai is talking about going down to strawweight, so he might even jump away from this division, right? Which then would mean that Jojo Ghazali will come up, or even what's his name, Diego Paez, who's still there. Who do you think Stephen Irving should be fighting in his first fight under his new contract? I'm looking at the list here and I'm thinking, I think Nakrov gets Jacob Smith next. I think that fight's coming up very soon. I would love to see Stephen Irving go up against like a Keith Kulazada. It's only because I want to see Keith lose. But he's gonna jump the rankings so high because he took out number 4 ranked guy. So I think that will be a bit too much of a stretch for him. So there's Asadullah, there's Jojo Ghazali. You could get Ghazali next because he's contracted. That would also be a good fight to watch. Shimon Yoshinari is probably gonna be the next guy that's gonna be added to the 173 card because they need one more fight for that fight code to make it 17 fights. And I just don't know if we'll get Stephen Irving. Maybe because he didn't take any damage in this fight, he could get Shimon Yoshinari in Japan. That would be mad. That would be a mad fight to watch. But I don't know. Give me your thoughts. Personally, I would love to see him go up against Keith Kulazada. But I don't think he gets that fight. They're probably gonna give him Jojo Ghazali next. But I'd love to hear your thoughts because that was a madness. That was an absolute madness that we watched at Friday fights from Stephen Irving. I mean, it made rounds all over X. It stole the show. It even silenced the crowd a little bit because it was a bit devastating to watch. It was like, oh, is Rambong okay? My guy okay? Because that high kick took him out completely. But okay, give me your thoughts in the comments, please, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to keep it moving to the co-main event. All you guys, let me know who you think Stephen Irving should fight for his first fight under his new contract of $100,000. Let's go. Okay, in the co-main event, we saw a very good fight between Sing Dom Tong and Sanit. Funny enough, this fight wasn't on our betting site. We know we could go get our bets for this one. I had them in a parlay, but we weren't able to put any money down on them. Yo, Anonymous Proton, welcome back, bro. Welcome back. I hope you are flying. Let me know what you got. What do you think about this One Friday Fights card? Because you were looking forward to it. You asked if we did the recap yet. I just finished my recap of the main event where we saw Stephen Irving just what I said about this was KO of the year so far. And we watched a lot of KOs of this year. I mean, Ilia Topuria is knocking out both. What's the name? Max and no, he didn't knock out Max this year. It was Max last year. But knocking out Charles Oliveira, which was quite devastating, right? That was a scary KO. But I'm gonna go as far as to say that this KO from Stephen Irving, just because they weren't high-profile fighters in Stephen Irving and Rambong, KO was still nasty. You know, I think it still should be considered to be one of the KOs of the year. If there was a Puskas Award KO of the year, this for me was Puskas for sure. Stephen Irving, brah, crazy KO. So yeah, give me your thoughts on that one, bro. But I think the big question I had also was what next for Stephen Irving? He's contracted now. He's got his $100,000 contract. That means he fights fight night cards. He fights pay-per-view cards. He doesn't fight on the Friday Fights card anymore. Who should he be fighting as like the introduction to the new level of the game? You know, maybe a ranked opponent. Give me your thoughts. Think about it. Let me know in the comments while I keep it moving. Sing Dong Tom fought against Sanit. And this was actually the one fight in this fight card that was a little bit boring. And I don't say that much about one championship, even though there's a lot of other shit that's going on in the organization that we can talk about. When it comes to fights, they put on good fights. They put on very entertaining fights every time, week in, week out. But this fight in particular, was actually boring for the fans. It was very uneventful. Nothing really happened. Not a lot of things were thrown. They just kicked each other the whole time. And what I was saying on stream was, I think both guys recognized that if both guys actually like unload their best weapons, or if they both agree to get into a car crash moment, they're gonna get KO'd straight up. One of them is gonna get KO'd. You could see it by the way they fought. It was very much like a training match. It looked like they were sparring the whole time. And I did give it to Sanit pre-fight. I thought Sanit was gonna win by KO, but he didn't. He won anyway by unanimous decision, and I agree to that. He did more. Even though Singleton Tom was competitive, but I mean, he didn't do anything to really hurt Sanit. He didn't back him up once. There was no boxing in this fight. These guys just were just kicking each other the whole time. Body kick, body kick, body kick, body kick, switch body kick, switch body kick. One jab, block an elbow, body kick, body kick, body kick, leg kick. That's what they were doing the whole time to each other. And neither guy changed the dynamic of the fight. Neither guy did anything different to move the fight into a different position. They were literally doing the same thing for 3 rounds to each other. And I'm going to say it now, the onus was on Singdom Tong to do more because he was losing that battle. He was losing the kick battle and he needed to do more to change the trajectory of the fight, and he didn't do that. He stayed in the kick battle and he stayed in the kick battle that he was losing all the time. So I found that a little bit disappointing. And again, it made for a boring fight. Even the fucking commentators were saying someone needs to do something big here to really stamp the approval and not make it difficult for the judges. Because I'm gonna say right now, I scored the fight on my notes here. I scored the fight first round 10-9. I need second round 10-9. I need third round 10-9 to Singam Tong. But I was this close to scoring it 9-9, 9-9 all the way because neither guy did anything to really pull the fight in any way. Because it's like I'm only giving it to Sanit because he did have a more devastating kick. Like you could see it had a bigger impact on Singdong Tong versus when Singdong Tong landed his kicks, and he was able to actually get it. It didn't really stop him. He was just like, okay, cool. I'll throw my one even harder than you. So yeah, the fight didn't really hype up the crowd. It didn't hype up the commentating booth. It certainly didn't hype up me in the live stream. So I just go, Sanit, yeah, well done. We get the job done. Chip chop. Let's move on. Next one. You know what I mean? That's my thought. I didn't want to talk about who we should be fighting next because I was very much hyping up Sanit. I thought there was a big fighter in him. His first 2 fights were crazy to watch in terms of like how much of the high level he showed in that fight. But then he got a fighter that he'd pose some threat to him, and he fought a little bit more defensive. So that was disappointing. So yeah. Anyways, Anonymous Powetan, Irving's KO was crazy, bro. Would you go as far as to say it was KO of the year? Now I'm making big brazen statements here, but the KO was so beautiful because of how he set it up, and also how clean it was. It was like so clean, bro. I mean, Rambong literally put his hands down and took that KO flush. It wasn't even partially blocked. None of that. It was like straight against his head. Fuck you, go to sleep kind of kick. That's what that was. And it was clean, man. It was clean because Irving had put the work in before that by conditioning the lower half. He was kicking so much to the lower half, like kicking the legs, that that Rambong had no other way to. When a kick was gonna come, he was gonna put his defense down because he was expecting another low one or even a kick to the body, making sure that the head was free for a nice high kick finish. What have you got in honest Powetan? I don't know if it's KO of the year. Laugh out loud. Okay, do yourself a favor, right? In the next 10 to 15 seconds, think of a better KO than that one across UFC and One Championship 2025. I'll wait. Okay, I'll keep it moving to the next fight. Let's go. So we had Kamawut. He took on the newcomer of Anar Mamudov, Azerbaijan. This was flyweight Muay Thai, and yeah, beautiful fight. But I always felt that Kamawut was a little bit under the gun the whole time. Okay, we got a comment here. We got a comment. Let's see. I had a feeling you were going to say this. Anonymous Provotan says that kick reminded me of the Usman Edwards fight. I had a feeling you were going to say this. So it is very reminiscent of that. Similar, actually, because Edwards, up until that high kick of that fight, remember that fight was 5 rounds, right? It wasn't even a 3-round fight. It was 5 rounds. Whenever Edwards did kick in that fight, he was kicking low. He didn't go high with it. He was going low and going to the body a lot of the time. And then when he did go high, what did Usman do? Abandon the defense. And Usman went into the kick. He leaned into it and took it. But Rambong didn't lean into the kick. He just dropped his hands like this and took it. And it was in the first round. But I get you, it was reminiscent of the same kind of strategy. But also Edwards threw a beautiful left straight and then left high kick off the same side. What I like about Stephen Irvine's one and Irvine's one was that he did it all in one round. You know, he didn't have to wait for anything else. He did all of this in one round. He did it in under 2 minutes also, which was insane. Against a fighter who, let's be honest, he's a devastating power puncher in Rambong, and he KO'd him quite easily. But in terms of 2025 was the question. 2025, can you find a better KO than that? Like, I'm struggling to find one, and we had some beautiful KOs in this year already. But that one was just ugly because it was lights out, quick, lights out. And he got a contract, so big ups to him. Maybe there are other KOs I can go and find, but right now, like, thinking of the back of my head, and we saw some really good KOs. That one was just, I got no words for it. I got absolutely no words. But okay, let's bring it back to Kamawut and Mamudov. And I did say in the preview, I also said it on the stream, I always just found that Kamawut will struggle in this division. This is a 135-pound division, or 130, right? So it's flyweight in one championship, not bantamweight in the UFC. And to be quite frank with you guys, it's a division that's full of guys that's always going to be bigger than Kamawut. If you think about it this way, Nong O was fighting bantamweight the whole time, his whole career, right? Pardon me. And then you saw the last 2 to 3 years before he came down, pardon me, to flyweight, he even said it himself. He felt that he was outgunned. That's a mad thing to say for an 8-time world champion, one of the best fighters you will see from Thailand, said, I just can't do it in this division. These guys are outgunning me. I mean, Kiamran Nabati, Jonathan Haggerty, Nico Carrillo at the time, you know, all these dudes are massive in compared to Nong O. Kamawut is the same height as Nong O, if not even smaller than him. Right? Stocky, muscular dude, powerful puncher. But I watched a lot of his fights, right? And the guys are getting bigger, the guys are getting taller, they're getting faster, they're getting better at fighting, different weapons, especially the guys that aren't Thai, right? Especially the guys that aren't Thai. I saw a post by Tetsuya on X. I'll try and find it and put it in the link. And he was talking about why Thai fighters struggle against non-Thai fighters, like your European guys in particular. It's because the European guys, yes, they have to cut more weight. What that simply means is they are bigger. Like they are a lot bigger than the Thai guys. And the big plus is that the Thai fighters don't have access, or they don't have nutritionists, that can help them with their weight cuts and help them with their diets, dietitians. They don't have this. The Thai guys are cutting roughly 3 pounds. Excuse me, not 3 pounds. They were saying 5 kgs at max is what they cut, right? So that's 2.5 to almost 3 pounds is what they're cutting for fights. And then the European dudes are coming in the same division, cutting 8 pounds, but they have a nutritionist. They've got a dietitian. They got people in their camp that can help them cut that weight, put it all back on. So when we have fight day, they are pretty much 2 divisions of heavier than the Thai guys. Like they so you could see it. They're so much bigger. I mean, Stephen Irvine, you could see he's not the biggest flyweight, but he was bigger than Rambong. You know what I mean? In this fight as well, Mamedov doesn't look like a flyweight in my opinion. He doesn't look 135. He looks 155. He looks 145 to 155 in my opinion, right? And you could see that Kamawut couldn't deal with power. He couldn't deal with the height. He couldn't deal with the size. Yeah, he was struggling to get in on the range. He couldn't really hurt Mamedov. However, Mamedov also was slowing down massively when they got into the second round. And when they got into the second, excuse me, at the end of that first round, when the second round started, he put his foot down, and he just went guns a blazing, KOing Kamawut with a good right straight TKO in him in that second round. And I will say this also, even though he got the bonus, I wrote down here, the ref shouldn't have continued the fight because that first knockdown was so insane. Kamawut was barely getting back up to his feet. And then when the referee started the fight, he asked Kamawut, put your hands up, which is usually the signal to the referee that the fight can continue. And Kamawut couldn't put his hands up. The referee said, let's go. And Kamawut didn't put his hands up. He was still very much jaded. And the referee said, fight. And when Mamedov hunted him down, Kamawut was going down before he even got hit yet. So, yeah, I think the referee shouldn't have let the fight continue. He should have called it there already because, in my opinion, he didn't make the 8 count. Another thing that the referee does is the referee will start the 8 count, right? But while they're doing the 8 count, they will tell the other fighter to get back and go to your corner, which took up another second and a half, maybe even 2 seconds to add to that 8 count. So, in my opinion, you didn't make the 8 count. And the referee comes back, 4, 5, get back. 6, 7, get back. 8. And I'm like, brah, you already passed 10 count. Like, this man is not making it back to the fight. And the referee did that anyway and gave him another lifeline. Shouldn't have. Then he got TKO'd pretty badly after that. So, yeah, big ups for Mamedov. I don't know why he got the fucking bonus, but he did anyway. And, yeah, KO the fighter that he should have. I think Kamawut, like I said it on the stream, I'll say it now again. He should consider dropping weight. I know it's difficult for him because look at the shape, look at the size of this dude. Like he's big, but he's not like ripped and shredded. He's just mass. So I think he can actually cut down a little bit more and can be a more shredded strawweight rather than a blown up fucking 4'5" flyweight. I think he should look at his coaches. Peter Miller is in Thailand. He's helping out all the champions in one championship so they can no longer lose their belt on the scale anymore. Call up him. I know they don't get paid a lot of money, but I'm pretty sure Peter Miller can, help out where he can. And try, or if he can't really be your nutritionist, ask him to give you a meal plan at least or a diet plan. Cut that weight so you can actually make straw weight successfully and to be honest with you, I think Kamawut can be a very, very, very devastating strawweight. I really do think so because everyone in that division will match him in height. He'll be more powerful than most of the guys in the strawweight division. You wouldn't have to worry about punching up every time because everyone is so fucking tall compared to him. And he'll look a lot better. He'll look a lot better in that division, in my opinion. So I think Kamawut should consider that because the fights are only going to get tougher in flyweight the more you go up the division. He fought against a guy that debuted, by the way. So yeah, I just think that Gamrot should consider moving down the division. Give me your thoughts in the comments, please, ladies and gentlemen. What do you make of that fight? You think that maybe Gamrot was outgunned in this fight? You think that Mamedov was a bit too big for him? And also, what do you make of Mamedov's performance of his debut? Was the bonus deserved? And who would you like to see him fight next in the division that is pretty much stacked? Maybe he can get one of the Stupinan brothers next. It'll be a good fight for Mamedov. It'll be a good test for him as well. But for now, I'm gonna keep it moving to the next fight in the fight card. Okay, we had Kau Korat taking on another newcomer in Ayub Yassin. Yassin, I keep saying Yassin, but it's actually one A, so it's Yassin. From Morocco. A lot of Moroccans on this fight card, by the way. He fought a good fight. This was 138 pounds Muay Thai, so these guys are also just outside of bantamweight. I think the bantamweight is 145. And you could see that Kalkarat, he was one of the big dudes for Thailand in terms of like his size, right? Powerful puncher. I had him winning this fight in terms of my picks, but when the fight started, he lost every round in my opinion. Not enough with the pressure. Like he had good pressure, but wasn't doing enough with it. The boxing speed and combinations from Yassin was phenomenal. The footwork was great. He was able to stay out of range, stay out of danger. When he did go forward, he landed everything he needed to land. Didn't really get the knockout blow, but he did a really good job at being accurate and constant. Right. The second round, there was a bit of a different game plan from Kalkarat. He started utilizing clinch, but it didn't last long when we started noticing that Ayub, he was battling in the clinch. I would say he lost the clinch fight in that second round, but he didn't lose the round because towards the last bits of that round, he was able to get away from that clinch and get back to his boxing where he was winning the fight on the outside. Very aggressive in the clinch as well, even because he had to be because he was losing it. I mean, whenever Kalkarat did get him in the clinch, the knees was hurting him, so he had to do something more to obviously get away from that. Because the more he stayed there, he was just getting pieced up every single time. So he did a good job at Yassin did a good job in getting away from it in that second round and then went back to just being better on the outside. Third round, more of the same. Not much change when they got to the third round. It was pretty much the same stuff had happened. So I think the win by unanimous for Ayub Yassin was good. I can't say anything more than that because the fight didn't have anything more than that. What we had was a Kalkarat under the gun, needed to push the pace, attempted to do that. Ayub had very good footwork, stayed out of danger, and landed these shots on the outside, which kept on landing, ultimately making sure that he actually won the fight. So well done to Yassin. And I'd love to see a little bit more. Kalkarat, I think lessons should be learned here for him in the sense that when you're going to go forward and put the pressure on the fighter, pull the trigger. Because there were times where he had Ayub against the ropes, back against the corner, couldn't get out of it, and he didn't pull the trigger. And then when he wanted to, Ayub saw it, cut an angle, got out of there, safe, didn't take any damage. So I think this lesson should be learned from Kalkarat here. But that's also something we see a lot when it comes to Thai fighters fighting against the fighters that's coming out of the region. I keep saying region. Morocco's in Africa, and Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Dagestan, Uzbekistan, they're all fighting out of Russia, right? But there's a big but. They all got very similar fight styles. It's very similar fight styles. And the fight style is very kickboxing heavy. That's what that is. And that style is a style that Thai guys battle with, bro. Battle with. So that's why I felt that Kalkarat was going to have a difficult time here, even though I thought he was going to win. Mr. Pawatan, what are you saying here, bro? I really only tuned in for the Irvine fight, laugh out loud. I was on skate during those other fights, laugh out loud. I did see highlights on YouTube, though. Okay. Well, I will love to get your thoughts on the ones you did watch. But just a big ups for you being involved in this live recap. Nonetheless, like that's top notch. And the Premier League is back this week, bro. So footy's back on this week. Hope to get your parlays for this weekend's football, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll chat about it on Friday when we do the Friday live. I'm sure we'll get you there. What are you saying here? Not on YouTube, on Instagram. Okay. All good, bro. All good. I mean, the Irvine KO is the highlights, right? That's the headlines for the weekend. it was the biggest KO of the weekend. So don't blame you. And also, a lot of people was waiting for that fight in particular for some reason. Um, but we'll keep it moving. Not much else happened in this fight, so I will keep it moving. And I honestly don't know who they should be fighting next. So I'll keep Okay, so we had 118 pounds Muay Thai, and we had Coco taking on the newcomer in one Chanoi. And actually, I have it on my notes here. This fight was a robbery, and I know the rules are the rules. Won't go against the rules. But why I say it's a robbery, because I feel like there needs to be a conversation about what happens after the knockdown, right? And how else do you score? Because you can get dominated in a fight. You can get a 10-8 round in a fight without having to knock someone down. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the same for kickboxing and Muay Thai, but I know like in MMA, you can get a 10-8 round without having to knock the person down. You can dominate them. And you don't even have to get a takedown either to assert that 10-8 round. You can beat them up for one round and rock the fuck out to them. They still won't go down, but you can still get that 10-8 because the fight didn't do anything back. They didn't win the fight back. They didn't win the round back. You know what I mean? So sorry, I'm just looking at this thing on my screen here, showing me that my stream is a bit choppy. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for that. But yes, so what happened in this fight basically was Wachanoi aggressive, fucking aggressive in that first round. Fast boxing, touchy combinations, lots of feints, hard low kicks, and put the pressure on Coco early. Coco then got back into that first round, started finding some range, but then he got caught with a very sharp right hand that dropped him, like slipped him. Actually, slipped him, but dropped him really badly. Okay, he popped back up, but the knockdown happened, and this is what I'm going to talk about now. He won. He was basically winning that first round, and then he got knocked down, and he lost the round 10-8. Sure, that's the rules. We get it. We get it. 10-8, right? Then we went into the second round, and Coco dominated that second round. Like Wachanoi had nothing for him in that second round. You can go watch the fight back or watch the fucking fight back. Wachanoi had nothing for him. You know, he didn't even put Coco. He didn't even back Coco up. Coco was just piecing him up. Wachanoi looked tired. He was dazed. Yeah, he was rocked in that second round. Coco rocked him pretty badly. Uppercuts. Coco does this thing where, from a southpaw stance, where he enters the pocket, but as he enters, he pushes his right hand up like this, pushes it up. Whoop. As he pushes it up, basically shoving his opponent's hands away. Then he goes left body shot. He threw it a few times, right? And Wachanoi had no answer for this. It was hurting him also. That was hurting him badly. And this is the question I have for you guys in the chat. And we put the question up on Instagram as well. Put it up on all socials. Should there be a question on how you score 10-8s outside of knockdowns? Can you get a 10-8 in a fight in Muay Thai and kickboxing without having to knock the opponent down? Right? Dominating them. And this is why I think one championship should consider bringing up in-fight stats. You know what I mean? Like landing percentage. How many strikes were landed? Forward momentum, which is pretty much like octagon control. Who's controlling the geography of the fight? Things like that, because that plays a pivotal role in dominating a fight. It plays a pivotal role, right? And also, it should be considered or should be scored a little bit higher, in my opinion, because when you look at the rest of how the fight played out, Wachanoi didn't do anything for 2 rounds. He didn't do anything. He was backed up. He was tired. He was getting rocked. He couldn't throw any shots. He was getting beaten up for 2 straight rounds. And all that gives for Coco is a 10-9, 10-9, which ultimately draws the fight. And if you draw the fight, the fighter that landed the knockdown won the fight. You can't give it to someone, especially if the knockdown was so early in the fight. You only won that round because the knockdown also came in the last second of that round, the first round. The knockdown came in the last seconds of that first round. So he basically was losing 90% of the first round. Then he gets the knockdown, which is Wachanoi. Now he wins the round. Then second round starts and he gets beaten up pretty badly, loses that round. Third round, exact same thing happens, loses it pretty badly. You could see the look on his face as well. Was like, he was relieved when he saw the winning, because he knew in the back of his mind, like, I still won the fight, even though I got fucked up. You know, so the conversation I want to have with you, and with like, there's the people that's out there, who are out there, is should there be a conversation around how to score a fight, or should there be a conversation around? I want to phrase this properly. Can you score a fight in in Muay Thai? Because we know it works in MMA, but in Muay Thai and kickboxing, can you get a 10-8 round without landing the knockdown? Should you? Should you be able to get that score as well? Because they don't do it. Anonymous Botan says dominating in the fight should get you a 10-8. I agree, bro. I completely agree. It's a good question to also have because we see in a lot of fights, and this is why we keep saying robbery. The fans are saying robbery literally in the live chats of One Championship on their lives. Everyone, all the fans are calling this robberies, right? But the rules don't. According to the rules, they aren't robberies, right? The rules are the rules, so they're not robberies. So then that means the next question should be: you need to revisit the rules in terms of how else you can get 10-8s because fighters win fights because of that fucking knockdown rule, right? They get beaten up badly, but then they get a knockdown and then they still win the fight. And then for me, that's counting your stars fucking lucky. That's what that is to me. That's you are lucky for getting that right. Right? Because even after you get the knockdown, you still get beaten up. You still get beaten up. And you want to make an argument of like, okay, but the other guy should also have gotten the knockdown. Yeah, but he didn't. But he still. There's a word we use in South Africa. It's an Afrikaans term. So I'm sure like the Dutch will understand it and the Germans will understand it as well. The word is called moer. M-O-E-R. Moer. Moorim. Right? You're getting moored. It's basically a English translation. You're getting fucked up. That's what it means. Like you're beaten, bro. There's no argument for you to win. You are beaten. That's what that means. And that's what we see. We see fighters get moored for 3 rounds, and then at the end of the 3rd round, the last 10 seconds, the guy that's getting beaten up lands a lucky counter elbow, gets the knockdown, and then they won the fight. And then all of us are sitting here as fans like, oh, robbery. But that's the rules, though. So what I'm trying to say is that the rules need to be revisited, in my opinion. And also for One Championship, they should consider moving away from scoring the fight as a whole and actually scoring it round by round because they do score it round by round. We get the cards at the end of the fight as fans. They get posted on X, and then we see they score round for round. So to say that you're not going to score the fight round for round is weird when you are scoring the fight round for round. So yeah, things need to be reconsidered here. What are you saying, Anonymous Poetan, after my monologue? Anonymous Poetan says, I like the One Championship thing of we score this as a whole fight. Quotations. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes it's bad because of the bullshit that happens. One lucky knockdown and you get whooped for the rest of the fight. Exactly. So something needs to change there. Something needs to change there because it's ruining the integrity of the sport, in my opinion. It's ruining how fights are being played out, how fighters actually fight. And also, you don't want to, if I own One Championship, right, and I've got a live chat, and 90% of my live chat is saying that this is robbery, week in, week out, I'd be worried. I'd be very worried because that could also spell out that you're going to lose fans, you're going to lose viewership. This keeps happening. If it keeps happening, right? Anonymous Poetan says, but yes, round by round would be so much better. The simple thing about having it round by round, Anonymous Poetan, is that it's not difficult to score. You know what I mean? Having it round by round simplifies how you score the fight. It really does. Going by round makes it easier for the judges, makes it easier for the audiences, and makes it easier for fighters and fight camps on how to manage fights. That's what it does. That's really what it does. I almost feel like the knockdown rule, what that really does is it entices fighters or incentivizes fighters to fight hard. Because it's like, if I get knocked down and I survive that knockdown, I have to get the knockdown back. So what that means is we're going to get a brawl. We're going to get an ugly fight now because the guy who got knocked down the fighter that got knocked down has no choice now but to get aggressive because you're losing the fight. You're losing the fight. Even though you've beaten up this opponent, you're still losing the fight. So I think that's the one plus we can get from a knockdown rule is that the fighter that recovers from a knockdown has to fight hard now because you have no other choice. Otherwise, you lose. Even if you dominate 2 more rounds, you still fucking lose. What happens then? What happens then if it's a 5 round fight and a fighter gets a knockdown in the first round, but then loses 4 rounds? A good example is the fight with Jackie Buntan and Stella Hemetsberger. Go look at that scorecards. The judges scored that fight round 1 to Stella Hemetsberger for the knockdown. Right, she had 2 knockdowns, I think, in that first round. Right, 2 very good knockdowns. But then she lost round 2. She lost round 3. Round 4 was a swing round, by the way, because everyone thought she lost that 4th round. And the judges scored the 5th round for Jackie Buntan as well. So if Stella Hemetsberger didn't get that 4th round, which she could count herself lucky, by the way, because I think she lost that 4th round as well. She would have lost the fight. The fight would have been Jackie Buntan 4-1, right? And by the scorecards, right, if we did the mathematics, by the scorecards, given a 10-9 4th round and winning the round 1 by 10-8, technically that scorecards should be a draw. But then they gave it to Hemetsberger because of the double knockdown 10-8. So things need to, in my opinion, things needs to change, because as much as I liked Stella Hemetsberger, she lost 4-1, in my opinion. So the same thing applies here, and that's why I feel like scoring it round for round will make it a lot easier for judges, fans, and for the game in the whole. Because it's confusing about this, because also by the rhetoric of scoring the fight as a whole and not round for round, then Jackie should have won that fight. And Coco should have won this fight as well. Because what does it mean to score a fight on the whole? What does that even mean? Let me know in the chat, please, while I keep it moving. Right, here we go. We have another good fight, by the way. 2 debutants where we saw. Sorry, I'm just looking at my comments first. We saw Tharapun, and he beat Fasodai. He beat Fasodai by 2nd round KO. Crazy fight, by the way. Lots of back and forth. Good first round from Fasodai. He had very good elbows in there. Elbow counting was really sharp. Good tips as well. He was the aggressor. But what I noticed was his shots wasn't really discouraging or putting Tharapun on the back foot. That wasn't really hurting him. Didn't slow him down. Tharapun kept him going forward and backing him up and landed some big shots on him. Devastating shots, by the way. And then he got that KO finish in the 2nd round. I'm trying to think now, was it he landed with? I'm gonna bring it up on screen here because I just want to remind myself. Oh no, it says, let me see this on. Yeah, they took it down. It's not even on Instagram anymore. Anyway, so he got the TKO. In my opinion, he got it because he took the best shots from his opponent in Fasodai, and when he was going forward, Fasodai wasn't able to deal with these shots, which was devastating him. And yeah, he got the TKO finish the KO finish in the 2nd round. Beautiful. I don't know if he got a bonus either. What if he got the anonymous Bowetan? I'm sweating here because I'm raging about these rules. That's actually quite hot. Anonymous Bowetan says, I feel like One Championship picks what fights they want to score as a whole and round by round. I need to look into that, eh? That's a good theory. It's a very good theory because, yeah, certain fighters do get favoritism, actually. Good theory, Anonymous Bowetan. I will remember that and I'll keep it in the back of my mind going into the next fight card, which will be on Friday. And I will look into that and see. Let's see where it can make sense, because I didn't think of that actually. And now I'm trying to think about, go through some fights in my head where this happened. Because there was, pardon me, we had a lot of Thai fight championships, right? What are you saying here? It might just be me, but that's what I feel. No. Look, no one can prove you wrong. That's the thing, Anonymous Pawatan. No one can prove you wrong here. No one has got a counter argument for what you say, and it's your opinion. If you can give us some justification by giving us examples on it, that can be really helpful for your argument. But As it stands, I can't disagree with you. I can't prove you wrong. We have seen a lot of fights where it ends up in people saying Thai fight championship because all the Thai fighters getting wins when they clearly lost. So so I'll look into that, bro. It's a good theory, and I think I'll keep that at the back of my mind and go think about it when I'm looking at fights again. Because yeah, if we're gonna see more Thai fight championships in the comments, proves you right, in my opinion. Does prove you right. Got a comment here. Adrian says one is corrupt. Again, no one can prove Adrian wrong. No one can. No one can prove Adrian wrong. That's the reality. Anonymous Powhatan says I'd have to look as well. So I'll just get back to you. All good, bro. We get fights every single week. So yeah, we'll keep a lookout for that. We will definitely keep a lookout for that. But this thing about Adrian saying one is corrupt. To be honest with you, there's a lot of statements that's come out by fighters, and RDR, for example, Reese McLaren is another example that's been talking about this, and yeah, these are guys that were employed by one, and they all call in the word corruption. So we can't prove nobody wrong, and the evidence is kind of there. The evidence is kind of there. Adrian says keep a lookout for the Cody Jerome interview, guys. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, thanks for reminding me, AD. That's a good one. We did recently interview Cody Jerome as early as last week, or as recent as last week, and yeah, we're gonna look to release that interview quite soon. Just working out things in terms of release date because we kind of wanted to release the video for the interview for the fight week for Cody Jerome because he was supposed to fight this weekend, the 18th of October. The other fights got rescheduled, so we may still release the interview this week, but then I'll obviously put out the disclaimer to tell you why we hesitant to release it because of that, because of the fight week. But keep a lookout, guys. Keep a lookout. We've got some insight for you, Jerome. Sorry about the glitching of the internet. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. But yeah, again, like I said, it's hard to disagree. It's hard to prove you guys wrong about your opinions here. Really, it's so difficult. And also, there's proof. There's proof to back your arguments up. So yeah, I don't want to use the word. I don't want to agree with you guys, but I also can't disagree with you guys. That's the reality there. Come on, internet. Don't fight me today. I'm almost done. Just hang in there for me. Hang in there for me, please. Let's keep it moving, guys. Adrian says also hoping to have JDB back with the post-title win interview. He DM'd you today. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Let's go. Anonymous Powhatan did ask us if we could do that interview live because he's got some questions. So yes, Anonymous Powhatan, we're hoping to get the second interview with JDB as a live. That way the audiences can get their questions in for the new crowned strawweight king. Let's go. But let me keep it moving, guys. I also have to go and fetch my partner from work. So let me just get this done. We also had the debut of Duang Danoi against Kim Townsend. Both of them made their one championship debut today. They also had history. They fought each other about 9 years ago. If I remember that correctly, 9 years ago. And Kim Townsend did win, but that was also a very young Duang Danoi. I mean, Duang Danoi is still quite young. I'm a fan. I've been following her ever since I found out that she was coaching Rodtang. This was, I think, towards the end of last year when he was training for the no, a lie. When was 172? That was March 2025, right? So rolled up to 172. Rodtang was doing his training camps, and I saw the videos. And when I saw Mighty Mouse go to Rodtang to do his mighty journey there, and I saw Wang Danoi in the video, and I was like, oh, she looks familiar. Who's that? Did the research, fought at RWS, trains with Rodtang, sister-in-law, vibes, all kinds of vibes. And she looks fucking deadly. I saw the RWS fights, and I was like, oh, she looks scary, bro. She looks super scary. Kim Townsend, on the other hand, decorated fighter, multiple championship, so many titles, been around the block, beating everybody. And Duang Danoi did say in the build of this fight was that she was a bit scared about it because she always felt that Kim Townsend was the kind of fighter that was built to beat her. She's like stylistically, she's a nightmare for me, right? So for her to go into that, for Duang Danoy to go into this fight and put on that display, I mean, she fucked up Kim Townsend. Let's be honest. She beat her up, bruh. Battered, counter elbows, the right straight counter to get the knockdown in the second round, and then just dominated her in the clinch in round 3. And I was like, nah, she's arrived, guys. She's arrived, and I thought that was a very good fight. This is my big takeaway, though. What you got here, Adrian? Rotang and Nong O were playing footy against each other last weekend. Yeah, I saw it. And Nesuma did a face off. They were like, because they're gonna fight in a month's time, basically. They're fighting in 4 weeks away from now. If I do my math correctly, we basically got 2.5 weeks of October, and then we have 2 weeks of November, and then we into the fight, to the 173 card. So these guys are they're just legends, man. But yeah, the big thing for Duang Danoy is this fight was booked at 107 pounds Muay Thai. Now, I don't think the 107 pounds is the atomweight division for the ladies. I think it's also 115. Yeah, I think it's 115. So Duang Danoy, can she make 115? But I don't know if there's a division for her in this organization just yet. I don't know what the weight class is for 107 pounds either. That's very light. It's very, very light, and there's not enough. There probably is a lot of women that fight this division outside of one, but in one there's only atomweight and there's strawweight, and they're even talking about maybe removing strawweight Muay Thai just because there's not enough strawweight Muay Thai. There's a lot of strawweight kickboxers and a lot of atomweight Muay Thai and a lot of atomweight kickboxing, a lot of atomweight MMA fighters for the ladies. But as soon as you get to strawweight and above, there's just not enough for one championship. Now you got the 107 pounds. I can't recall any woman in one championship fighting at that weight class. So our biggest fear for Duang Danoy, are one championship going to be able to build the division around her, or are they going to be able to build the division for that weight class? Because if they are, they're going to have to go and pillage a lot of RWS fighters to come into it, which I don't think they're going to be able to get that right. But let's see. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Big win for Duang Danoy. Wonderful stuff. Very hyped to see her fight because she's fucking scary. She's just scary. But yeah, good fight for her at the end of the day. But for now, we'll keep it moving. Right, this is the big one. Obviously, this is like the most controversial thing in combat sports right now that has taken place. Obviously, apart from like steroids and all that bullshit, this is the big one because of how it played out. And I think I was also more angry about this fight because it ruined the parlay. Ibrahimi had won, and Coco lost, by the way, which was also would have ruined the parlay. But this was the big one that ruined the parlay. Big one. Eddie says jail. Yeah, he's got to go to jail, bro. He's got to go to jail. I know that he did a apology post on Instagram. I don't know if you guys saw it. I watched it yesterday, and he made an apology post. And like, I'm not gonna lie, the apology post was quite generic. Like, I don't buy it, even though I think he's gonna learn from it and he won't do it again, hopefully. But like, the apology was too generic for me, and he has to prove us wrong when he gets in another fight. But what Rahnimi did in this fight was unforgivable. Like, you don't. Personally, I think one championship should not make him fight for another year. Like, put him on ice, bro. You're gonna be on ice for 6 months, my friend. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to wait now. You're gonna have to fucking wait. You're gonna learn your lesson. Anonymous Poetan says never seen a fight again. Yeah, exactly. He can count his lucky stars that he's still there, and like they allowed him to put out the apology video because that was an absolute disgrace. I'm not gonna recap it in terms of like how the fight played out because I thought he could have won the fight if he fought the fight cleanly. If Rahnimi fought cleanly, not get so hyper aggressive and get all in his head and compose himself, he would have cakewalked this fight. I promise you, he would have cakewalked easily. Otan, what are you saying here? No one, no UFC, no PFL. Yeah, none of it. No GFL, none of it, bro. You don't. No RWS, no Thai Fight League, no Ryzen, none of it. No K1, none of that bullshit. He has to reset. Go back to Morocco. You're gonna fight the Moroccan league until you grow up. He's 19 years old. You fight there. Go fight in France, and then we can bring you back afterwards because you don't. It's just not deserving. Anonymous Powhatan says, not gonna lie, it looked like he wanted that red card. See there? You see what I mean? If you saying that, right? I'm sure a lot of other fans are saying it as well because it looked deliberate. It was very deliberate. You can't tell me it was unconscious patterns, even though 80 no Dan Hooker backyard fights. I mean, even that, bruh. And that even Dan Hooker's fights are sanctioned. Bruh. There's referees, there's doctors on site. You know, he's not gonna get that. Because it did look deliberate. It looked deliberate. He attempted it 4 times. The second one was worse because what happened with the second one was he span. The motherfucker span, bruh. You go watch it back. He went, he threw a punch, threw a thing, and he turned around, like he let go and he turned around and then came with the kick. No, he didn't spin, I lie. He didn't spin. But he threw a combination and he was already down. The kid was down. So what I'm saying is there was no target for Rahnimi. Like, you know what I mean? The target was on the fucking floor. Your guy was laying on the floor. Why are you kicking down there? We've seen so many fighters pull their kicks when the fighter goes down. They literally pull their leg back. They don't continue with the combination. This boy follows through with the full combination. And also, the second kick, I can understand the first one because it was like motion and I get it. But the second one, Payakrut was down already. He was literally crawling back to his feet. Watch it back. The dude's literally crawling back to his feet. And in the motion of doing that, this Rahnimi throws a kick. Why are you choosing to throw a kick when this guy is walking? He's crawling back to his feet. It's not like Payakrut was what's what I'm looking for. It wasn't like Payakrut was crouching, you know, where he's still on his feet. You know what I mean? Crouching and then getting back up on the ropes. Payakrut was on his ass. His bum was on the ground. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I thought Rahnimi, and I was still in the corner of, you know, it's a combination that he drills probably 100 times every day. So it's like it's in this motion, it's in this, you know, like muscle memory motion thing. So it's unconscious pattern that he threw. But yeah, your opponent is down, bro. You know what I mean? Your opponent is down. You should at least know how to pull your punches and kicks when the opponent goes down. You know what I mean? What are you guys saying in the comments here? Why would you throw a kick on a fighter that's already down? Exactly. Why would you? You know, unless the rules are different. He is also got knocked down, so maybe he thought he was done. That could motivate the aggression, AD. That because he got that knockdown was beautiful, by the way. That spinning back elbow, back fist was beautiful. I mean, got him while he was being aggressive as well and dropped him quite nicely. That's a very good point. He could have. There's just all kinds of aggression. Like, for me, it felt like Rahnimi abandoned the concept of this is a sanctioned fight. There's a referee. There's lights in the ring. He fought the fight like it was like none of that existed. He fought the fight like they were in the backyard of some restaurant, and Payakrut like spat in his food, and they're like, okay, now we're gonna fight outside. That's what it looked like. That's literally what it looked like from Rahnimi. Street fight, though. Adrian says was a pride style soccer kick. Literally, and if those rules were allowed, then like, by all means, go for it. But that's not the rules, you know. That Beyblade. No, I thought he span, but he didn't. It's only because he actually wind up the shot. Whereas like the first kick that landed, he didn't wind it up. It was in the motion of the combination. It's like a right, no, it was a left, right kick. You know, this one was he threw a left, right, but then he wind up that left kick and he went forward with it. So it was like the attempt was fully intentional. Fully intentional. You could argue the first one wasn't, but the second one was like fully intentional. And that's why I was like, I won't even accept the apology. I won't. Because saying sorry doesn't mean that the fucking thing has changed. It didn't change anything. You know, the dude was still KO'd from an illegal shot. So, yeah, in my opinion, fuck your apology. Be more aware of what you're doing. Learn from that mistake. And then prove us that you can do something different. But okay, we keep it moving, boys. Another fabulous fight, I thought, to be honest with you. Fabulous fight. Just because of the style and because of how the pace was going. You know, I think Talbi, Abdelhamid Talbi fought a very good fight in terms of like the the way he took it to him, he didn't allow Yamazaki to get into sort of rhythm. He was forcing the narrative. He was pushing the boxing. He was aggressive. I'm gonna say it this. I'm gonna say this now. I feel that Talbi would look better in 4-ounce gloves. That style that he has, the shots that he was catching Yamazaki with, if that was 4-ounce gloves, I think it would be a round 1 KO. I don't think Yamazaki comes back from that knockdown. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. And also Talbi fights very, very, very boxing heavy. So that for me means like in a kickboxing fight, that's not really gonna work because the gloves are so much bigger, there's so much padding in it. It's not often we see knockouts from punches in kickboxing rather than highlight kick or a knee, or you will get that kind of KO. You will get a TKO from the boxing. I don't know if you're gonna get like a one punch KO. And I think Talbi's fight style will look better in a 4-ounce glove fight. Yamazaki, I expected what I saw. What I saw was what I expected. Fast, tricky, deep kicks, low kicks. You could see early that Talbi had a difficult time with that calf kick, but then that's why he got so aggressive with the boxing because he had to. He couldn't sit there and take it. He literally couldn't sit there and take it. So he had to get aggressive with that boxing. And it made for a very entertaining fight. It really did. And what I liked about Yamazaki was he actually fought through that adversity. He got a knockdown back. Right, and it was one apiece. Let me just make sure I'm correct here. Yeah, he got. I gave it a 9-9 for the first round because both guys got a knockdown. I'll lie. Where am I reading here? Yes, both guys landed knockdowns, so it was fairly even. Then in round 2 and round 3, even though Albi was so aggressive, he wasn't able to really let those shots land. Yamazaki was very accurate and very elusive. The body kick that the Japanese guys throw, watch it very closely. They don't body kick with shin to the ribs. They body kick with the toes to the ribs, toes to the sternum. They don't really body kick with the shins. Where the Thai guys will body kick, or anyone that fights not like Japanese guys, their body kicks are going shin to the ribs, which is still hard, right? But I think pointing the toe, like a stiff toe into your ribs, I think that's more devastating. Like that's sharper. I think that's gonna. You could see it. It was stopping Talbi a few times. Like when I took it, it was like, oh, hands go down, shakes it off. I'm like, yeah, that kick's gonna ruin you if you take it again. You know what I mean? As opposed to like the shin hitting the body. But yeah, that's what Yamazaki was doing the whole time. He was elusive and he deserved the win. I gave him round 2 and round 3. So yeah, that's pretty much how the fight played out. I'd love to see them fight again. These flyweight kickboxing, we know what that division looks like. So let's see. I mean, the current champion is still Super Leg, and we've got Takeru there, Taiki Naito. Just remind myself, but there's like a lot of good flyweight kickboxers that Yamazaki could be fighting against next. Even for Talbi, dude. But I think it'll suit him better if he actually drops the kickboxing gloves for the Muay Thai gloves. I think it'll suit him a lot better. For now, we'll keep it moving. We saw featherweight MMA. We had Evgeny Antonov beating Sulaimanov. Funny names, bruh. Just funny names. Not much really happened in this fight. Sulaiman couldn't really use his reach advantage. He couldn't really use any of that advantage. Antonov was just stronger, faster, aggressive. Very good grappling. He actually rocked him. Let me just see here. There was a knockdown in the first round that he had. Counter left hook. Beautiful counter left hook. Dropping Sulaimanov. First round. And then, no, that was second round. Sorry. It was a right hook. He won the first round. Oh, he had a knockdown in both rounds. But he was pretty much just dominating the fight all 3 rounds, in my opinion. Sulaiman couldn't do anything. He couldn't reverse any of the positions. So yeah, well done to Antonov. Nothing really impressive. Nothing that makes me go, I want to watch these guys fight again. But he deserved the win because in every single round he wasn't put in trouble at all. Sulaiman couldn't do anything to him, so he deserved that win. Big ups to him. Then we had, this was another good fight for the Japanese kickboxers, 139 pounds. So bantamweight kickboxing. Now what Ali Saidi from Afghanistan, tall, but couldn't do anything. The fight was doesn't give the time on screen, but the fight ended within 40 to 50 seconds. So what happened was Saidi came in strong, really aggressive. The first move the Taiku throws, Taikaiwa, the first move that he throws, spinning back kick, lands. Saidi takes it. First thing Saidi does, puts his hand up and goes, ref, walks back. Referee doesn't even count. The referee just looks at him and goes, I would have said, ref, that's not, you can't count that. That means he's basically telling you that he wants out. He doesn't want to continue. Ref goes, nope, right again. Like he goes up to him, throws another left hook, another right hook, another left hook to the body. And Saidi goes down again, and the referee goes, right, that's the fight. Which I think he should have called after the first spinning back. Because, again, like the UFC, like I said earlier, about Sinte Luque, same thing here. The moment a fighter puts up their hand after taking a shot, that's equivalent to a verbal tap. You are basically saying to me, you don't want to continue anymore. You can't continue anymore. Don't give him an 8 count. He can't go any further than this. Fight's over, TKO finish. Even though he got the TKO anyway. So I can't really say much for Saidi. So I don't know what his style was like. He didn't get a chance to even showcase that. But Taiku looks sharp. He did win 3 titles before coming into this organization. So I want to see more from him. I really do want to see more from him. Bantam and kickboxing, Yuki Yoza, Anahachi, Jonathan Agadi, Nabil Anan. It's a division full of killers. So he's going to have to do a lot more to become more recognized to fight against people like that. But yeah, good fight nonetheless. Let me know you in the comments what you guys think about that one. If you catched it, I'll keep it moving. Opening the last fight, we had Vinay Kundu. He took on Jason Sedo, and this was flyweight MMA. Utam was were obviously rooting for Kudo, being from India. And myself and AD, we obviously went with Jason because our guy TSBV said in the comments that Jason is like the flyweight MVP, like for Venom Page. We were obviously looking to the fight to see what we're gonna get from him. And to be quite honest with you, he was losing the fight. He was losing the round, and there was like a couple of seconds left of that first round. I think if Kundu had just stayed a little bit safe, maybe backed up, he would have survived the round and bagged the round there, because he was dominating it. He landed some big shots in the clinch, some big hooks. Yeah, Jason backed up, took him down multiple times in that first round. Had good top control, good ground and pound. But then when Kundu was on top, he did this thing where he moved away from full guard and chose to stand, which I thought was weird. Instead of passing to side control, he chose to stand against a taller fighter. And he got clipped by a up kick, and then still chose to stand there and look for a ground and pound from a standing position. You know what I mean? Which I thought was weird because Kundu was outgunned in terms of height. Kundu standing up straight, right up straight, and Jason on the ground. His legs could still reach Kundu's head. So for Kundu to stand there, I thought he should have, once he chose to be backed up like that and took the first up kick, I would have shoved the legs to the side and gone back to side control and recover, win the round. He didn't do that. He stood there, took another up kick, getting KO'd flat KO, losing the fight. And another hyped up Jason, which I don't think it was that impressive a performance. What do you say? Yeah, that knockout was crazy. It was, bro. It was ugly. It was an ugly KO. Indians always get viciously KO'd. It seems to be a pattern, eh? I mean, of all the Indian fighters I watched in MMA, I haven't watched many, and when I have watched them, they only usually fight really well in the first round, but then they always get beaten, KO'd or tapped out in the later rounds every single time. Every time. And it's not like there isn't any Indian champions, because there was an Indian champion in one championship. I forgot his name now. Let me just quickly see. I'll actually bring it up on screen for you guys. That is my recap. So let's just type in Anatoly, because he fought against him, but there was an Indian heavyweight champion in one championship. I don't know if he's still there. Arjan Bula, he had the title. So there was a successful Indian fighter that got the title, but even Arjan Bula, I watched him fight, and when he did fight against top class fighters, he just ran away the whole time. He didn't really do anything. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. Thank you for tuning into the live. Much love to you, Anonymous Poetan, 80. All respect to you guys. Let me know your thoughts about what do you guys think about Charles do Bronx and also Stephen Irvine, and more importantly, what you can expect from Fighting with Friends. We'll be releasing a one championship news segment, which will take place tomorrow, which is Tuesday, and then on Wednesday we will be releasing our preview for the next UFC fight card. Brandon Allen taking on Rainier Derrida. And then Thursday, as usual, we will be releasing the One Friday Fights 129 preview. And Friday, we will be live for you for One Championship on Friday Fights 129. I don't think we'll be doing a live for the UFC this weekend. The start time is same as the one we just had now. Fight card doesn't look that amazing, so we're gonna pass this one, but we will be doing our usual recap on Monday, this time slot. So hope to see you guys there. Um, Much love. What have you got here, Anonymous Robotan? I'll be looking forward to the JDB interview, Jonathan Diabella interview. Absolutely, bro. As soon as we get the information, we will be releasing the details of when you guys can look forward to it, so we can get you all there in the chat, bro. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But for myself and the Fighting with Friends team, guys, have yourself a very, very good week, and I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.